preparing your material, you must prepare your intelligence, your, I would say, uh, personality preparation include your intelligence. And before polishing your intelligence, you have to develop your ideas about the material.
Right.
Actually, when you go through material which includes books and all corrects given in that, first of all, you will have to develop the idea of that topic, and after that, that will work as a bank or reservoir for your confidence. Because in multiple choice questions, you have 4 to 5 multiples, and out
Yes.
of that, one
Options.
right you have to choose.
Choose. Okay.
To narrow down that one right, I think here your intelligence involves, your perception involves. And when you learn some education and when you learn something, the basic concept, basic purpose of that learning is to boost your evaluation, your assessment, to assessment in such a way that you can target your aim rightly.
So,
Another
Mr.
thing,
Levin, just for the that was you were talking about, that these are totally intelligence based, and that is a very tricky task just to take a test of these type. So, motivating and discipline yourself. So, this is one of the thing that what you were talking about, that if you are taking these type of the tests, so you will have to motivate yourself and discipline yourself. So in this way you will have to bring all that knowledge, all that the material which you are going to take the test about, that is the objective types, and there are so many choices and the multiple choices, you will have to select the right one. So I just want to ask of you what I mean to say, that coping with test anxiety. So this is a main problem whatsoever at the, even at this stage when I am 50 plus. So if there is something just like that, so there is all the time anxiety. So Mr. Reed, as you are very expert of all about the personality grooming, and that is the anxiety in anywhere when especially taking a test. So it's a very what we can say, it's a very difficult time, and that test anxiety, if you can just
yes.
talk about that what is this test anxiety, how can we cope it, and what are those tricks and tips? Raja, would you like to listen this, because you are also a candidate, and very soon after a
Right.
few months you will have to take this test. So Mr. Lee,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting, and it's a very informating, and it's a very what we can say beneficial from your side, if you can talk about the how can we cope this test anxiety, please.
Sure. You want me to read this?
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
no, 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 no.
Before. Oh.
You must not read it. I just want to
Oh.
get the expert opinion of Mr. Rananavi.
Oh yeah. That sounds great. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Ransa, please talk about
This is
this.
very natural. Whenever you are at the verge of some test or exam, you may face some sort of anxiety. It
Yes.
varies person to person, and I think before going to this kind of test, first of all, you should analyze yourself, what kind of personality you have. I think we can remove these fears and anxiety if you are well prepared. And again, I would say well preparation means two preparations. First of all, the material preparation, which you have in different forms. And when you are ready, when you prepared it well, then comes preparation of your personality. And personality also involves the removal of anxiety and all these, because the force then comes out of your personality when you are well prepared, your material wise, when you are well prepared. Secondly, your kind of personality. Sometimes you may have personality like impulsive personality, and sometimes you have a cautious personality. Cautious personality means the personality which has some sort of insecurities and unknown securities, undefined securities. At that time, he or she needs counseling and some sort of directions to remove. No doubt there is a general pattern to remove these anxieties, but commonly I would say that if you are well prepared, I don't know what kind of personality you have, because they have their own shades, but generally we can say if you are well prepared, your as per your material, because these kind of tests like set, they involve hectic preparation material wise. And if you are well prepared means if you have good concept of all these topics and material, then I think a force of confidence then you may have in your personality. And at that, one thing here I would like to mention, that when you are in anxiety or some sort of tension, then there comes in your mind a problem which is called forgetfulness. Now see, forgetfulness is a problem which can you face at the moment when you are endorsing the answers of your question, because if you are in tension or anxiety, then you may forget the right things at the moment. So I think it's a long process to remove anxiety or tension in a personality, especially the tension or anxiety in regarding or concerning to tests. But I think before all this, you should well prepare. Now, here I would like to quote an example just to clarify the concept how to achieve high score in MCQ sort of questions or tests. Now, see, I would say this is like a bullet fire or pistol fire to hit a right aim. If I ask you to fire a bullet on the right aim, then it involves actually many things, many calculations. For example, mathematically or physics, in the field of physics, if I ask you to calculate how we can hit the right aim with this pistol fire, so at that time, you will start calculating the distance between the firer and the aim, and the angles of elevation, the pistol which you are holding in your hand, etc., etc. Many things. Even your tangent theta will be involved to get the right direction to fire at the right bullseye. But when practically you are given the task that now you have learned everything, you have the idea of hitting the bullseye, please now practically go and hit this target. I think again there will be problem, and that will not be the time, that will not be the moment. At that time you ask your tester that please give me again a copy and a pen so that I can calculate the distance between the assigned target, etc. So actually what then comes at that time, here again your perception, your idea and assessment comes, which will give you the right idea to hit that aim. And even to the extent, I think all will be knowing that when you practice it, when you have your inner force or strength for the assignment, then even you can hit a fire to the flying objects. Now, to see the extent. So same force actually I'm talking about that should induce in you with your preparation. And again, preparation, first of all, your exercises, your repetition, your hectic solution of the questions, and then there should be a force in you that will give you a right assessment. The final product of education or learning is a good evaluation, and actually the thing which will be in action, that will be your assessment and your evaluation. And evaluation means, like in the example of targeting a aim, at the time of fire, there may be a jerk in your hand, there may be different problems which can hinder taking right aim to the target. But even then, a kind of force of confidence will be there that will ask you, no problem, and you can hit the fire, you can hit the target.
Right.
Now, just think that what you did before preparing you for the assignment, that you have to target the aim. Same goes with the multiple choices. You have many targets. Actually, these targets are distractors, are problems. the concept problems. Actually, one right is your aim, but four others are your distractors, your problems, your issues, which may comes in the way due to your less preparation, due to your lack of confidence. You haven't prepared well your material, and
Right.
no doubt another cause is your personality makeup. If your personality is a very confident extrovert type, even when a personality is extrovert, even if nothing is in his hand, he can do a lot. But if he is introvert, then having many things in hand, he can't do anything.
Okay,
So
Mr.
this
Veer,
kind of reduction of
it's
confidence I
very
need
informative, or
to your
what we have,
personality.
that actually we are running short of time. So it's a very long discussion, and I think Mr. Raja, you must go through all these things. And
Yeah.
Mr. Naveen, what you were saying, that is a very well explanation of that. That how can you focus the your target. What target is that there are five choices. You'll have to select the right one. So one thing I would like to ask, that how can we visualize our success, and how can we get the relaxation in that way? That how can we relax before or during the test? And what do you mean by this? Use self talk when we have to take the exam, or actually we are just in the examination hall. So how can we visualize the success? So it's although it's what we can say, the personality aspect of one individual, but Mr. Ved, I would like to just listen from you, that how can we visualize the success, and how can we relax during the test, and what do you mean by this? Use the self talk. So please, if you
Yes.
can elaborate these points. These are the last three ones.
Actually, MCQ tests generally they have many questions and very short time. And very short time, the purpose is to get the real essence of your potentials, or to assess your actual potentials. So there you will not find the time to exercise all these things. Mean self-talk and self-efficacy, which is the next step of self-talk, So it means all these things you have to exercise before entering the test hall, and before that. Now this is the time to exercise all these things. Actually, confidence is the basic thing, and to boost your confidence, to polish up your confidence for the assignment or for the expedition, you have to do all these things. And these all variables which you talked about, that self-talk and self-efficacy and removal of anxiety and all these things, I think this is the right time to discuss and to remove these problems. And no doubt these tools are very effective, but you should exercise now. And first of all, you should understand the meaning or comprehend the meaning of these things. Actually, personality is a very complex thing, and I would suggest all of you that first of all, you should analyze yourself what kind of personality you have. Because if you have problems like fears and anxieties, then it's okay, you should then seek solutions of these problems. If you don't have, if you already an extrovert personality, I think there is no need of doing all these remedies. But better you should have your personality analysis. Now, second question is that how then we can generally we can boost our confidence level and all these potentials, shop how to shop these potentials. So self-talk is a kind of talk an individual can do in his own soul, with his own soul, and actually he assures and confirms his success. And then to the next, like if you want to hit a big six, if you want to hit a big six in cricket, then you have to talk with yourself that yes, now I'm going to hit a big six. and you will repeat it in your mind. You will say to yourself many times, and then ball will come. Here the actual situation are the situation which you are facing, actually the moment the ball arriving, and you take the right time to hit it a big six, to convert it in a big six. So here again, you this self talk will work at that time. But in these tests, questions, there are too many questions, whereas the time is very short, so you can't exercise. Rather, you have to convert your personality. You have to give a habit to your mind before entering the class, so that automatically all these forces comes in action, and you would be able then to hit a big six. So self talk, no doubt this is very important, and you should, just to ensure yourself, just to ensure your success, just to visualize your success in the future, that you are going for a big expedition and you will hit a big six, then you can say to yourself, because then to the next step, it will take you the self efficacy. And self efficacy is actually the frame of your mind, your thinking. I should say, it becomes a thinking pattern of yours, that you feel, and you feel a sort of confidence that yes, now I am ready. A situation of extroversion, a situation of extroversion in your mind. Yes, I am well prepared. Now, if ball will come, I will hit a big six. So this kind of thing, this is called self-efficacy,
Self-target.
and it prevails in your mind. And with the
Okay.
help of this scenario in your mind, then you can confidently do many good things, and at least
Right.
you can avoid forgetfulness, which is an issue due to your anxiety and fear.
Okay, Mr. Louis, it's a very long, once again, long topic, and you have elaborated very well. So the next thing is that would you like to briefly talk about the memory techniques? But a lot of things we will have to memorize, and we will have to just get out of those memory. So just a few tips, very briefly, if you could talk about that, the memory techniques. What are those techniques we use just to our students,
Yes.
please?
In MCQs, I would not suggest a process which is called a layman process or common process, which is called cramming, right? So
Right.
cramming is actually not the strategy to prepare for these kind of tests. However, memory is a thing which is involved. Again, I would say that memory is not the right tool for MCQ's question. No doubt, I would answer your question, the techniques about memory.
Yes.
But before this, I would say that memory is not the part of preparation of this MCQs type questions. However, when there is some big subjective material, I will say that you should have technology how to cope with the difficult questions. This technology is important, not cramming or other material, because in future you are going to have a smart learning style, and smart learning demands your in less time, your high preparation in less time. And then surely you have to activate your actual tools in your brain to have to grasp all that material in short time. So when we talk about cramming or things like this, so actually these can work in a low grade educational activities, but not like this.
Okay, okay.
Now, when
It's
we come to the
enough.
memory,
Yes, yeah, yes. It's your verdict that we should not memorize all the material in MCQs. It's 100% correct. So, Mr. Rajan, it's your time till now. What the Mr. Naveed was talking about, all the things that many points he has covered in during his discussion. So, if you have any question, just please ask. This is a time. This is opportunity for you just to ask that all about these tests, because you are the candidate and you will have to take the
Yeah.
exam, so definitely something is running in your mind also, so please come
Yeah.
out. Yes, please ask the
So
question.
I was looking at this slide, and I just wanted like a quick, like 1-2 on what it means to make an abstract memory map. Like, what does
Yes.
that mean?
Mr. Nui, he is talking about the memory, what we can say the mind map or flow chart of the mind or whatsoever. That how can we put the things in the map that we will have to just going to talk about all those and that we will find in the exam. So how can we make the mind map?
Yes, very nice question. Memory map, mapping or mental mapping. So another term is schema formation. Actually, schema formation. This as there are almost more than 300 pictures in your mind, and through which our whole life have the idea or the concept of life. To any topic, to anything, you have a mental map in your mind. And for even polite expression and hard expression, all these things have a schema in your mind. Even learning, basically learning based on this schema formation and mental,
Yes.
and to which this mental mapping, I would say this is actually your concept building. Now, how can we have a mental mapping for these kinds of tests? Actually, mental mapping and schema formation means mental habit. Our physical habits are based on our mental habits. First of all, our brain learns all about these things, and then we exhibit through our physical activities. So, it means for preparing these tests, first of all, you have to give a picture to your mind so that it can be activated at the moment when you are sitting for the exams. And that mental mapping you can have with many tools. If you have a right material for the right preparation, then I think it will be to the point and exact, and it will trim your extra effort, it will trim your extra time. So you should, first of all, you should have a right material for the right preparation, to the point material. Mean set, as I have been told that there is a set preparation, MCQs, forms, etc. So I think you should not have long subjective material. No doubt, if subjective material is included in the test, then you should prepare, but your preparation should be a sensory kind of preparation. Mean in very short time you should go through a long material, and just to have a picture of that, just to have an idea of that thing. And wherever you have some conflict, some problem with the concept, then you should focus on that problem,
Right.
or that issue, and resolve it. But get technology, not memorize it, not cram it, because cramming is not going to help you in this regard. So
Right.
just get technology, and technology means a mental mapping, a schema. Now, if just let me 2 3 minutes to give you the idea of schema formation. Now see, when when child when child after the birth of a child has 5 years around her mother. So at that time he gets the idea of a woman, a female, a mother, the way his mother talks, the way his mother
Right.
tackles him, etc. All these things in the first 5 years, he gets the idea, the schema, the concept or mental mapping of a woman, of a mother, right?
Right.
When he grows to an adult after 18 years, now see, it's quite strange for you, a new thing for you. Here, suppose after 18 years, after 20 years, when he points out some girl that I like this girl and I want to marry her, then here which force comes to define him that he likes that girl. Actually, that is the same concept and the same mental mapping which he had in his early 5 years from her mother. And that idea, that concept is going to help him that this lady is good, this lady is pretty, and you should marry her, right? So now you see how complex these ideas are the things are inside a human being. So same goes with your question about mental mapping. That mental mapping means you have to get the idea and you have to give the habit of that idea to your
Right.
brain, because that will work at the moment with the help of this mental mapping. If you are simply cramming, if you are sufficiently preparing all these materials, then really there are many distractors in your mind. Even your cautious attitude, I don't know about your personality, even your cautious attitude will hinder these problems in this test, and you will not achieve a good score. So if you want to have a good score, then you have to give a good habit, and good habit means a nice material you should have under your eyes, under your study. And
Right.
secondly, good counseling, good directions from any good guider like Mr. Masood Saab, etc. And thirdly, a bit repetition and recurring or exercising the material. If these, and before all these, I think you should have an idea of your own personality, what kind of personality you are. If you are fearful. Now, two problems actually comes in the way when this kind of tests are preparing or taken. One is your impulsiveness. Impulsiveness, I think you have the idea of the term impulsiveness. Mean
Yeah.
your brain is running very fast, even the material which you have, even you are going ahead of that. And second is your cautious attitude. Cautious attitude means due to your brought up factor, due to your early brought uphood, you have some kind of personality issues which involve insecurities, and these insecurities are personal insecurity, mean some damage to your personality, to your to your body, etc. And second is your financial insecurity. So if you don't have these two problems especially, then I think abiding or following my rules are the things which we discuss. You can go to achieve a good
Okay,
score.
thank you, Mr. Nui. I hope the answer has been done. Raja, what do you have? You
Yeah.
are asking, so it's a very explained, what we can say, a deep and thorough explanation of that question. Now, the last, because we are very little time left, or so, Mr. Nui, very briefly, the three tips, what we can count 1, 2, 3. So, what are those three one sentence tips or tricks, what you can say? If you say number one, you will have to do this, that's the suggestion for taking exam. Number 1, 2, and 3, only 3. Very briefly, we have very little time left. So that's why I'm requesting you just to 1, 2, 3 tips.
Right. This set formation as multiple choices. You have to hit the right option.
Number
So
one.
first of all, you should have a full-fledged knowledge of the topic or
Yes, number
preparation
one.
of material. Number one.
Number one. So number
Second,
two. Number
second,
two.
to narrow down your right option, out of 4 or 5 options, actually 2 options are very closer to the right, and
Yes.
3 or 2 are not so close. So you have to differentiate the right options out of
Right
4 or 5.
Right.
That is number
Just,
two. The
just
last.
eradicate,
Yes.
just avoid from the uncorrect questions and just focus upon 1 or 2 correct options and
Okay.
define them very quickly.
Last, number 3,
Third,
please. Third
yes.
one.
Third is there is a 3-layer plan actually for the kind of these MCQs questions. 3-layer plan. First layer is that you go through very quickly throughout the paper, throughout all the questions, and if you have sections in the question, then go through first section very quickly, and very quickly in the way that the answer you can find the to which you can find the answers in a very short time in seconds. If you can tick them correctly, then go through the whole section and tick them out.
Okay, Mr. Naveed,
Okay.
In
it's
second
these
layer,
are the second layer actually. Chalo, if you can speak very quickly, we have a little time, so please describe the second layer, and that is
yes. In second layer, you should have good time, and you can investigate, and you can then algorithmic research. You can go through rhythmic steps, that how you can solve these questions. Actually, there is very short time. You can't have the
Right.
time to solve taking long times. So you just to sharpen up your idea of a quick option, but going through a bit investigation or solving through algorithmic steps. I
Right.
mean, you can
okay.
take a bit more time in second option. And in
Okay.
third layer, if this SAT MCQ test, if it doesn't have negative marking, I think then the
Yes,
last option,
doesn't
means
have
the last minute or last 1 or 2 minutes, then you can take all the options. But
all
I
the
Right.
hope
options.
that option has a negative marking, and for this you have to be very careful, and you
Right.
should have a good
I
knowledge of
think
your
there is no negative
topics.
marking. Am I right?
No,
Yes,
there's
There is
none. At least
no.
for us over here, there's none.
Okay, okay. So for
yes, I
SAT,
think there will be a negative marking,
Oh,
because just to bring the students, just to avoid student, or just to check their real potential. I think there will be negative marking. So to avoid negative marking, I think they should have the good idea. And last is that you should prepare this whole test through MCQs. Not you should go long investigations of these topics, but just get the material which is in the form of MCQs, and just go through that. And wherever you have problem of concept, then you should investigate at that time. There is a term skimming reading, a skimming preparation. Then you just touch the things and go upon that more material, much material, but don't focus upon one or two things. Focus just where you have problem in the concept. And I
okay.
think if you do this, and
Yes.
second, and another thing is, just take the idea in your mind, the targeting a bullet and the bull eye through pistol. You can't have enough time to calculate at that moment. So before this, you should have a kind of confidence in you to target in the right way. Your
Okay.
assessment, your precision
Yes.
should be polished before
Yes.
entering the class.
So these are
Yes.
the three suggestions from Mr. Naveed. So at the end, we have very little time left. So it's a very interesting and informative discussion. And we are hoping that Mr. Naveed will be also with us for the future time. And we'll talk
right.
about all these aspects, the personality, the extrovert, introvert, and a lot of things he was talking about that actually we don't have this much time to talk about each and everything because it's a time bound meeting. So we have only
Yeah.
50 minutes. So I hope that Mr. Raja, just you will have to think about all those things which Mr. Louis was
Yeah.
talking to us. And if you have the queries, so you can